Rejoice, everyone. We're back with another Sekhie Reacts to Fate.
Yeah, how was that dank hashish? I know. I've been making bad jokes. I want to say it'll get better. Like, I won't use bad jokes as hints going forward, but that's a lie. There's always a chance that I just use, like, a fucking terrible joke as a hint. So, you know, for anyone who didn't get it, no shame. This was pretty fucking obscure. I was making a very American joke about, like, hashish with the Hashashin and, like, smoking. To be honest, I probably wouldn't have even made it if I hadn't been recently watching a documentary on YouTube about something to those effects. So I will be better by a little bit, but expect terrible jokes just in case going forward. But yeah, enjoy Hassan Isaba. As you can see, we are talking about Hassan Isaba, or I mean, more generally, the Hassans, as in all of the Hassans, all at once. Because why? Why split things up into reasonably sized videos? That's unreasonable. You know, totally unreasonable.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Pull up a couple things. I don't have all my notes on my fucking notebook today because I started doing research and then I was like, I am not summarizing 300 years of history in my notebook. I will make annotations at where I need to refer back to my phone and only write down what is necessary. Alright, so the Hassans. We first need to start with Hassan Isaba. Circa about 1050 to the 12th of June, 1124. He was a military and religious leader of the Nizari Ismaili state and the order of the Assassins, the Hashashin, and has been called the Old Man of the Mountain or the Elder of the Mountain, and was an educated man, especially in mathematics, astronomy, and philosophy. This is mostly occurring during the Islamic this is all occurring during the Islamic Golden Age. Which went from the 8th century CE to the 13th century CE. So, like, even though Europe was stuck in the Dark Ages, the Islamic states were having a golden age. What is that fucking moron doing? Okay. She's stupid. So, in terms of primary sources about him, there is some allusion to the fact that he likely wrote an autobiography and a treatise or two, but we actually don't have any copies of his original writings. We do have references to them in other literature from other Persians at the time. So, yeah, a little bit on trying to find stuff that could be, like, confirmed. But based on what we know, he was born in Qom, Persia in the 1050s, and early in life he moved to Ray, where he became interested in metaphysics and would study many other subjects at home. Ray was also the home of the Ismaili movement in Shia Islam that followed the Caliphate of Cairo at the time, and at 17 he would convert, and he greatly impressed his elders, eventually being recommended to go to Cairo for further study. He didn't immediately leave for Cairo, he actually waited a little while until he was, like, basically kicked out of Ray by those who were super against the Ismaili. But he did eventually go to Cairo. However, he spent 2 years on his journey to Cairo, touring various other places along the way. He would stay in Cairo for about 3 years before touring extensively throughout Persia, eventually retreating to the mountains, which were filled with long-time Shia strongholds which had not crumbled to, like, Seljuk power and stuff like that. In 1088, he would find the mountain fort of Alamut, and it would imply a patient and long-term strategy to slowly convert and infiltrate the fort, eventually finally capturing it in 1090. He then devoted himself to study for 35 years, allegedly. So the story goes that he retreated to his room to, like, study and philosophize for 35 years, but at the same time, like, this empire was, like, actively building during this time, so, like, there's no way he just locked himself away entirely for 35 years. However, he was incredibly studied. He could quote the Quran by heart and knew a lot of things about mathematics, astronomy, alchemy, medicine, architecture, and science. He declared Persian to be the holy language for the Nizari, and that would remain so for centuries. So most Nizari Ismaili literature from this time period is written in Persian, unlike in most of the rest of the world. Interestingly enough, there are accounts of him from Marco Polo. Marco Polo was the one who gave him the name Elder or Old Man of the Mountain. And he talked about how he educated people in his court and spoke of the extensive Alamut libraries, but he also called him a con man. And then the Shishiji, which is a Chinese record, tells of a league of assassins that would be sent to kingdoms who did not surrender to infiltrate and kind of subvert. So obviously telling of the same people. So I've mentioned assassins a few times. You may be thinking, oh, this man doesn't, he's not an assassin. This is Hassan Isaba, because you've never seen Fate and you don't know that all the Hassans are assassins. Or you've never played Assassin's Creed, or any of the various other things. But this man created the Order of Assassins. Circa 1090 to about 1275 CE. They were a sect that held, that basically conducted subterfuge and assassination throughout the Middle East by covert murders of Muslim and Christian leaders that the Nizari Ismaili state considered enemies. Alamut and Lambasar castles in the mountains became the foundation of a large network through Persia and Syria that would include other major strongholds like Masyaf, Abu Qaibas, Al-Kadmut, and Al-Kaif. Marco Polo introduced them to the world in the West by the name Assassin, derived from the term hashish. While the name refers to the whole sect, only those of the status of fidai could engage in conflict. Their preferred methods for killing included dagger, nerve poison, and arrows, and they posed a fairly significant threat to the Fatimid, Abbasid, and Seljuk powers of the time, killing over 100 targets that included notable figures like 3 caliphs, King of Jerusalem, and many Muslim and Christian leaders. It would eventually decline and be destroyed by the Mongol invasions of Persia in the late 1200s. So, I've got 2 things to go from here, right? We're going to do a relatively abbreviated history of everything that happened after Hassan. Like, I'm not going into great detail. A lot of this is on the topic of kind of religious conflict and inter-religion wars and stuff like that. And that is not necessarily something that I am well versed in. I know very little about this topic myself. So I'm just going to be covering the highlights of big major historical events. You know what I mean? Shortly after establishing the headquarters in the order, they would capture Lambasar Castle, which I mentioned. That would be the largest of the Ismaili fortresses and confirm the power in northern Persia. That date is sometime between 1096 and 1102. It was taken under the command of Saba's successor, who would lead it for over 20 years. No interactions were noted with the First Crusade to the Holy Land and the Assassins. Mostly because the First Crusade targeted predominantly Muslim enemies that were separate. Let's see. Fucking hell. However, there were major conflicts following this with the Seljuks and the Seljuk Sultans. Especially Muhammad I Tapar and several others. The first notable assassination was that of Nizam al-Mulk in 1092, and he was a very powerful Seljuk vizier who was kind of like, how do I put this? He was like what enabled the Sultan at the time to kind of take a large amount of power. You know what I mean? Like, man was behind a lot of stuff. Over 50 of the assassinations conducted during Hassan Isaba's reign were actually of Seljuk officials, mostly those supporting Muhammad I Tapar. They then seized They then seized the Persian castles of Rudkan and Gerkud before moving further into Syria, occupying the fortress of Shaizar and using it to spread terror to Isfahan and into the heart of the Seljuk Empire. By about 1100, they had consolidated a fair amount of power. And actually, the Seljuks would turn and attack the Assassins in some of their strongholds, being at first successful and devastating to the Assassins, but the terms granted when the fighting was over were quite generous, and they would continue their mission against religious and secular leaders. So notably, they would kind of strike all throughout the Levant, kind of, and this area into Persia and that sort of thing. Mostly against, Muslim Christian leaders. Once again, the Seljuk sultans. Again, in the next generation, he would be succeeded by Kia Buzug Umed, who would be the new leader of the Assassins. And then he would be the person who was most likely... Let's see. How do I phrase this? Basically, the Assassins got involved in some kind of inter-country politics fighting in Syria. And eventually, a new leader would come to power, and then some stuff would happen, and then another one would. There's like a lot of changing of hands of power during this time period. With Sultan Mahmud being one of the main targets for assassination. And then we have to remember that the Assassins did have some involvement in the later Crusades, not the first one for sure. But for example, they did attempt to assassinate Saladin twice, failing the first time and the second time leaving after just threatening him, which is actually pretty notable. I mean, man survived 2 assassination attempts essentially from the League of Assassins, and Saladin is a famous name in the history of the Crusades. I think it was Richard the Lionheart fought Saladin.
I believe Richard the Lionheart was.
I could be wrong, but that feels right. It could be the Disney furry Robin Hood in my head telling me that, but that feels right. They did kill a king of Jerusalem, and then they also targeted some European nobles who came for the Crusades, like notably, which was pretty interesting when I was recording them. I think the big thing now is we can get into... I also wanted to just list off some, like, famous names from the Order of Assassins. I'm not going to list all of them. If you want a list of all of them, go look online. There's, like, a list of, like, 30 of them somewhere, and most of them don't have a lot of information on them. But of some of the more well-known ones, there's Al-Hakim al-Munajim, who was a physician and astrologer, circa 1100. Abu Tahir al-Saig, the goldsmith, around the same time. Bahram al-Dai, we talked about him a little. Rashid ad-Din Sinan, 1190s. Sarim al-Din Mubarak, 1271, so right at the end of assassin time. He was the son-in-law of the Sultan of Egypt, actually. And then for some notable assassinations, there was Niram al-Mulk, the Seljuk vizier and basically shadow ruler, right, over a puppet king. Jinnah al-Dawla, the emir of Homs of the First Crusade. Ahmad Sanjar, a Seljuk sultan. Saladin, the Third Crusade, failed. Munkeh Khan, who actually succeeded. That was a successful one. And then Edward I Longshanks. They attempted to kill Edward I as well. He was only wounded, though, and this was kind of right near the end of their power and control. So I don't know how much more in-depth Fate goes, but I was fully not intending to summarize 300 years of religious war in a space that covered, like, half of the Western world and involved the other half in armies, because that would have just taken entirely too long. And then you did not give me specifics. Like, I know that there's multiple Hassans, but I don't know if each one is, like, associated with one of the more famous Hassans or, so I picked out the big ones.
I'll say now, I think maybe only one of them has a known name.
Okay. So it's kind of like the Nazgul, where they all had names, but we only know the names of, like, 1 and 2 if you listen to game lore.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got the Witch King of Angmar, and then if you listen to game lore, then there's Kamel the Easterling.
Before we get on to Fate, though, I guess it might be worth mentioning that the Order of Assassin, like, this is where our modern idea of an assassin comes from.
It is. It's where we get the word.
Yeah.
It's where we get the idea of it.
And it's been, like, not parodied, but, like, referenced in pop culture a lot.
Assassin's Creed.
You get Assassin's Creed.
This is the whole basis of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also get the House of Many Faces in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a few
You got it. Does your fantasy series have a vaguely Middle Eastern inspired assassin group?
Raj Al Ghul and his in the Batman, that part
Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
Yeah, Talia al Ghul and that stuff. The fucking Razak.
Yeah. Razak, that one was
Aragon.
That's right. That's what I thought it was. It sounded
Razak.
Aragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're everywhere in pop culture.
Technically, I think there's also a comparable thing in Lord of the Rings, but it's in the deeper lore, and it has to do with the Easterlings.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
So I guess before we get into seeing any of the Hassans, I should probably explain like what's going on here.
Oh God, there's so many of them. Why are there so many?
We have a full list down here.
Holy shit!
We're not covering every last Hassan here because not all of them have enough notable stuff
Okay, so
we're going to
let's
design.
see. So the 19 leaders of the Hashashin, medieval Islamic sect based in Persia.
They can only be summoned as an assassin servant for obvious reasons.
Of fucking course.
And they're actually not full heroic spirits, but rather wraiths that can be summoned as servants. Okay. So they're far weaker than most servants.
I was right, Richard I and Saladin.
They lack. So, like I said earlier, they lack an identity of their own. Once they take on leadership of the Order of Assassins, they are Hassan Isaba.
Yeah.
And a big note here for Fate is that in all the Fuyuki Grail Wars, the only servant that can be summoned in the assassin class normally is Hassan, without some heavy hijinks.
I do want to note here, because I was reading this while you were talking. It says that they were talking about their noble phantasm, since they all share the same thing, Zabania. And it's the name of the 19 angels that guard hell and torment its inhabitants under Archangel Malik. There are some really heavy, like, apocryphal, like, Christian traditions assigned to them in some versions of, like, the stories about them. And so, I mean, you have to think this is essentially the Nizari Ismaili state, which is what the Order of the Assassins was, derived from Shia Islam. And of course anyone who's studied Islam knows that there are two major sects, Shia and Sunni. And this is the source of a lot of conflict in and around the world, because they are different in sort of very specific ways. I think the big one is that they technically followed different people at the split when Muhammad died. One followed like his son and one followed somebody else. And I had to study this back in like middle school, and I don't really remember it super well because it's not my particular area of study. But that's the other reason why I didn't really want to do the 300 years of history, because I didn't necessarily want to get into a huge religious thing. Because here's the thing, I'm not Christian and I'm not Muslim, so I am uniquely unqualified to speak on either in terms of like ideological wars. Like, I can report the names, the dates, the battles, who fought where and when, but it is not necessarily within my scope of abilities and knowledge to speak on intent or, beliefs and that sort of thing. Like, this is the foundation of, like, an incredibly strong conflict that has, for the most part, existed until modern day, and is still being fought and argued over today. And I don't want to offend anyone, because I don't know.
That seems fair to me.
Yeah.
So, I guess we should probably get into our first Hassan here.
Hassan Isaba?
No.
Oh.
We're not going to start with the original Hassan Isaba.
What about primacy?
We're not. So the order here is going to be a little bit arbitrary to Sekhie's eyes. To Fate fandom's eyes, you might notice it as more the order, almost like they were introduced, but not quite that order.
Okay.
So our first Hassan here is called Hassan of the Cursed Arm.
Okay.
So let me get the FGO images here.
Oh.
This is the Hassan that appears in, spoiler alert, Fate Stay Night Heaven's Feel, as well as FGO.
Okay. Oh.
That an alternate? No. Oh, and then...
Yeah, I saw that. It's cute.
Little face on the nose.
It's cute.
So, Hassan of the Cursed Arm here is actually one of the only Hassans we know the original name for. Okay. That being Hanam. If you want to take a quick look, we'll pause this.
No, because I pulled up a while back. I was... There's not one that shares that name that I can find.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he only has a name just because this is the first Hassan that was ever introduced into Fate. So,
okay.
There's a lot going into him here. Let's see here. Sorry, I lost my place.
Fucking Sekhie Kojiro.
Yeah.
Well, that was fucky wucky. I know that.
Yeah. Sekhie Kojiro wasn't really the assassin servant.
Yeah.
You'll see it when we eventually watch the Heaven's Feel movies, I'm sure.
Yeah, because we talked about Sekhie Kojiro a little at some point.
In Unlimited Blade Works, mostly.
Yeah.
For the discussion there.
Yeah.
Personality-wise, he is... he shows incredible loyalty, but in life he was always seeking admiration for himself by gaining... And that was all he sought. And that's why he became Hassan. Okay. This did cease to be when he actually became Hassan and no longer really saw the appeal of it. At that point, he would settle into just being the Hassan Isaba.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and move down here.
Man, you've been in everything.
So, is that... No, it's appearance.
I wonder if maybe it, in the... Can I check something? A little weird. We don't normally spend a while checking this, but... Oh, is this just going to be, the same...
Yeah.
For all of them? Okay. I was wondering if maybe,
it would give more information on him himself.
Yeah, because then maybe I could have,
bit, but I'm going to kind of wait till we get to the Noble Phantasm to explain it.
Okay.
If you want to, we have the relationships here.
So, Gilgamesh. Hassan does not trust him at all, remarking that he reeks of betrayal, and strongly requests that Ritsuka sever his contract immediately. Okay. Hassan of the 100 Faces. I may not be particularly talented, but I believe I'm a jack of all trades. I much prefer to be not very strong. It's better. The Son of Serenity. I never thought a girl like this would be here. If you ask me, the old man of the mountain's rules are strict. That's fair.
And then I will kind of skim past the role section here unless you catch something.
What the fuck?
That is just... That's not going to be in our artwork gallery.
Is he giving me Konji?
I think so.
You know what? I really like Konji, and you know that. I would accept. Oh no, but Sekhie, what if the Konji has nerve poison? All the better for me not to feel all of the aches that persist in my body every day.
So Hassan is extraordinarily weak in combat. He himself
I remember.
No match for most servants.
I know, it's the worst.
He fights by throwing modified dirks at his opponents and actually has a finite amount of them, making him fully capable of running out. Mm-hmm. So in combat, he always has to be sure to collect them.
Yep. No, I fucking hate it. Oh. They didn't do a...
They don't show all the skills.
That's really annoying. No, I mean, I can see them up here. They're, listed.
They're not clean listed out like the FGO
ones
are.
Plus, Realm has him in campaign, and we did actually use him.
No, you don't, actually. This is different from the one you guys have.
No, but Realm has a Hassan.
Yeah.
And we have actually used a Hassan before.
Yeah.
One of them. I don't know which one we have.
We'll get around to that when we get there.
Yeah. Okay, so is that self-modification? Alright, there's Wraith, magical energy. With the Takbir. Allahu Akbar, okay. Ward off storms. All right. It's a prayer that invokes Allah in order to ward off the wind jinn. Allows him to change the wind at will. His proper presence concealment. Okay. Okay. Cool.
So his noble phantasm is called Zabaniya, Delusional Heartbeat.
Yep. So is it question? Is it the same name for all of the Hassans and then like a different property, or is it like just the like? Help me out here.
So Zabaniya, and this is a good time to explain this actually, is just an all-encompassing name that is given to every one of the Hassan's signature trump card attacks.
Okay,
it's supposed to be more of a sure.
Okay,
all
so
their
it's,
NPs
it's
are
one name, but it's different things for each Hassan, technically.
and they're all supposed to be basically their like surefire assassination method.
Okay. Well, because is the one that we have Hassan of the 100 Faces.
Yes.
And his is just having the 100 of himself.
Yeah, we'll look at that one more when we get there. But
it's the worst to fight with that in a large scale. I fucking hate it. It's almost as bad as trying to fight with fucking Iskandar.
I don't know, Hetairoi. This will take us to multiple pages, but we'll stick to this one here.
Evil is arm of the evil spirit Shaitan, the cursing hand of Middle East magecraft, specialized in curses that curses humans to death. Yep. One-winged spear. Okay. Interesting. I like how it's like fate, strange fake, ufotable.
Yeah, this has appeared in a lot of places because it's the oldest one.
Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, he basically just recreates the heart, crushes it, or eats it. If he eats it, he actually does become capable of absorbing that person's sort of intellect or their abilities too, I believe.
Valid.
That is just the ufotable animation if you want to take a look at the blurry
Weren't you
box
going to show it to me?
Yeah, I could show you the FGO
Yeah,
one.
you'll show me the FGO one.
Okay, let me...
I'll see the studio ufotable eventually. Don't you have it open?
Yep.
Just take me
It's
where
right here.
open. Yeah. That's right. Stab a bitch. Stab a bitch. Okay. Oh, just stabbing. There.
魂なぞ飴細工
Bloody.
Ooh, nope, we don't want to click into that, so I will click X because we also have an arcade!
Yay! It's playing. Remember, it takes a second.
Servant to Assassin 影より貴殿の呼び声を聞き届けた
So is the card art for Assassin just based off the
Yep.
Hassans?
ザクロとチレ
That's what I thought.
魂なぞ飴細工よ苦悶を起こすザバーニーヤ
Oh no! Why? Why? My precious Cascoo.
Guys, don't tell her.
What?
Okay,
What?
so there's actually a fair bit more that I didn't explain about this as well.
Okay.
That arm...
Then get to it, boy.
So most Hassans, when they're coming with their Zabaniya, come up with it themselves. Cursed Arm did not do that, making him somewhat of a cheater compared to the others. He's kind of a heretic.
Okay.
He actually obtained this by sacrificing his arm to a demon called Shaitan.
Yep, I read that. Remember?
Yep. The fucking devil. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So, I don't know if you read this part, but he can actually cut off that arm and just release Satan to attack everybody, including him.
Nice.
So, moving on here. we have 100 Personas, the one you're familiar with.
Well, familiar is a strong word.
Well, 100 Personas is the one seen in Grand Order and Fate Zero, so this is the one you guys have summoned.
Yeah, it's the one that Realm has.
So yeah, you have different designs.
This is very much like the House of Many Faces.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's cute. I like her.
So what's funny is in Fate Zero, 100 Personas is depicted more as male. In Fate Grand Order, 100 Personas is depicted as female. It's one of those weird instances where this might be an actual case of Fate playing around with concepts like that.
Huh. I like it either way.
Yeah.
I like the girl. She's cute.
So the anime-only watchers are probably most familiar with this Hassan out of all the Hassans so far.
Why?
Just because Cursed Arm only appears in, as far as like the main anime, he's only recently appeared in the Heaven's Feel movies.
Yeah.
And 100 Personas has been around for a long time in anime form compared to Cursed Arm through Fate Zero.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You'll remember this is the Hassan that got fucking owned by Iskandar.
Yeah. As they should.
This Hassan is interesting because at the 100 Personas, it's actually 100 different potential characters we could be talking about. Mm-hmm. All of whom can be different in age, size, gender, dress. I kind
of picked that up.
Let me see here. I already mentioned the fact, the Zero Grand Order gender difference here. But, let's see. So, this is a fun note that I wanted to include because I actually didn't know this until I started looking into 100 Personas more. And this is not something included in the anime of Fate Zero. Hassan here is not a wet noodle, despite what the anime may show. Hassan in the animes kind of gets owned by Iskandar and goes out pretty much like a bitch. Mm-hmm. In the original light novel, apparently Hassan, right before that, was planning to have their master killed and organized to take the Grail for themselves.
Hey, look, you gotta look out for numero uno.
Yeah. I won't go into the individual names of every single one, because some of them do have names and personalities.
Nice.
But I do want to bring up that there is one that I personally appreciate, named Zaid the Based.
What?
I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
The name is just Zaid the Based.
That's fucking hilarious. Do you know which one it is?
No.
Okay.
You might see it.
All right. Whoa, that's so cute. Oh, what's that? Oh, we're going to see that. We're going to see that.
That's actually not something we're going to see.
Won't it be in the extra art?
Don't think this is FGO related. Just an April Fool's thing that was in a magazine once. Type Moon's not... So, the extra art's usually only FGO art. So, if anything sort of is separate from FGO, it might not be included.
All right. Oh, so here we have the actual... All right.
Yeah.
So, Presence Concealment, obviously. Librarian of Knowledge, processing the memory of multiple personalities. All kinds of specializations. 32 times of specializations. Okay, Battle Retreat. And then Delusional Illusion. I love this. Just a little chibi explanation of, like, this is how it works.
That's probably what's included in the light novel.
You're this one! Permitted him to divide into any of 100 separate personalities, although only 80 existences can manifest at one time.
Yeah, this Hassan in life had multiple personality disorder, or DID in the modern sense. Mm-hmm. They combine that with magecraft or maybe really good makeup to make themselves just become a different person every time. They would...
If the church learns that we know how to shapeshift, they will call us witches.
Apparently, though, it didn't require Hassan fully modify themselves to pull this off. Mm-hmm. And then as the servant, you've seen it in campaign. They just summon all, or most of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have played with this in campaign. Was the worst. Can confirm. It was terrible keeping track of. And Vorn kept fireballing them. Like, he kept casting fireballs and then catching them.
I mean, Fireball is an AoE spell. It's actually not a bad attack on them.
But it wasn't a good choice in this case. No, because that was when they were fighting on our side.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were fighting up close and personal, and Realm was controlling them, and Vorn kept shooting fireballs.
So, their NP here is called... I guess you have the different names here. We'll just scroll through these. We don't need to read them all.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Oh, Zaid.
Oh, and there's a little girl one. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to scroll up here, and we're going to click into the NP here. Delusional Illusion.
Okay.
Go ahead and read that if you
want. Alright. Anti-Phantasm that targets the assassin himself rather than an opponent. Okay. Each one is a separate entity, and the only shade characteristics are their skull mask, black cloaks, and race. Body size can be anything. It's possible to produce the egos are not aware of themselves, like the child assassin, that are not counted amongst the 80 divided servants. All existences are equal, none of them created as superior or subordinate, and none is a real form or an offshoot of the whole. Okay. Yeah, because you can sacrifice one and people might assume that they're dead, and they're good for reconnaissance and stuff like that. Hey look, other skills employed by the assassins include impersonating, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and chick-sexing. What the fuck?
You can click into that if you're curious.
It's Wikipedia. I know what the fuck chick-sexing is.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's telling what the gender of a chicken is when they're hatched.
Trust me, I don't fucking know.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, this just has all the Zabaniyas, so...
Yeah.
Alright, so we actually have the FGO animation for this.
Nice.
Just a lot of them hitting a fucker.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
So our next one is called Hassan of the Serenity.
Yep, I can see her popped up there.
This is her original design here, the one that was in Fate Prototype.
Okay.
Fragments, I believe. But Fate Grand Order's Hassan of the Serenity looks like this.
That's not too different. Oh.
Notable for being one of the few Hassans who will actually take off their mask.
Oh. Aw.
I'll come back to that because she actually has alternate costume.
Cat ears. Oh. Very cute.
So, Hassan of the Serenity here is from the light novel Fate Prototype Fragments of Sky Silver, but most will know her from Fate Grand Order. Mm-hmm. The one thing I've neglected to mention is that most Hassans will eliminate their own face to make sure they have no identity besides their own. This is not the case for Serenity, as she is a Hassan focused a lot on espionage. Mm-hmm. We will have to return to her personality a little bit later, though, because it's hard to explain without knowing her skill set.
Okay.
Welcome to read these if you want.
There's so many. No. Wait. Go back up. I'll read through a couple of the ones I know. Scheherazade, someone to consult with for a Fergus countermeasure.
Oh, then should Fergus...
You keep scrolling past it!
Oh, there he is.
Yeah. A peerless brave warrior of the Celts who, having heard about those who would die from touching her, was far from faltering at the news, and he is in a state of having a curiosity for this person, saying, that person is great. Oh, there was no man who can endure you for more than a single night. That is even more... You fucking horny-ass bastard.
Well, I guess that'll make sense in a minute here.
I suddenly feel like I know what's coming.
So, her ability set is that every part of her body is poisonous. Mm-hmm. Including her sweat.
Lovely.
So, if she touches you, you take lethal amounts of poison. if she, let's say, puts her finger in your tea is now poisoned. God forbid she kisses you or goes all the way.
Down, Fergus, down.
Yeah.
Stop being Fergus.
If you're a servant, you actually probably have a chance of surviving this. But it would be excruciatingly painful. But even her master's not immune to it, as I believe in Fate Prototype Fragments, she even accidentally kills her master, but I could be wrong.
Does this lead to some sort of complex in her personality?
Yeah.
Where she's like very afraid of touching people who she doesn't want to die?
Absolutely. But this does work with her dirks that she throws.
Yeah.
Touch the dirk.
It's
The dirk is
fucking
now
poisoned.
poisonous.
Nerve poison! But it's poison.
So you'll probably find this interesting. I'm going to click into her Zabania page up here before we... actually, no. I'll mention before we get into her Zabania and some of the more fun stuff here. Yes, you are right. It does create a complex in her personality where she can't, like, even if she likes someone or cares for someone, she can't have them touch her. So,
Has anyone ever considered latex gloves? Perhaps mittens. Full body latex suit.
there have been people and servants capable of actually touching her, though. Through different means. You've played through London at this point. You know that MASH helps provide the Master's resistance to poisons.
Yeah.
That means that the Master in FGO is resistant to her poison.
Oh.
You know what being poisoned from the entire body does create, though. She is extremely love and touch deprived.
Yeah. That would go along with the complex.
Because of her complex, she kind of, if you can survive her poison, just kind of jumps right into a relationship or tries to. So,
No, it's an assassin version of
waifu at
Kyo.
your own risk.
Waifu if you're in a threesome with MASH.
Exactly. Actually, so I didn't do this for the campaign because I needed to make it make sense in the context of 3 people, but in the original, it's just being contracted with MASH will help you with that.
Ah, okay.
So here you go. She actually does have a trump card like Cursed Arm does.
Uh-huh.
If she wants to, she can basically destroy herself and scatter her body across the area. Her poison blood would then basically kill everybody in the vicinity.
Yep, I see that.
And even the wind would be poisoned.
Awesome. Gotta love that. I'm feeling snackish. I'm sorry.
I mean, you ate brunch and nothing else today.
No, but I'm not hungry per se. Just in case anyone's curious, it's coffee candy. Maybe I'm in withdrawal. I haven't had coffee in.
Oh, that's some audio quality.
Oh man. That was like someone putting a phone up to a microphone. Oh look! Ryder! No! Gay! 10 out of 10 would read the fanfiction. Oh my god, can you imagine the amount of, like, fix-it fanfiction involved with this character? Like the whole, how, fucking just fanfiction authors writing about, like, how to get around her fucking poison skin and, like, give her the love, like, that she needs.
So, our next couple Hassans are not in FGO yet.
Okay.
But we will cover them because there is a decent amount to cover here.
Okay.
The next one's called Hassan of the Ghostly Weft.
Okay.
We don't have a lot on his characterization. We just have this here.
Oh.
This is one of 2 assassins we'll talk about from the Strange Fake series.
Okay.
Some people right now might be wondering why we're not covering False Assassin, instead jumping straight to True Assassin. We'll get to that when we get there, so just hold your horses.
What? Okay.
Ghostly Weft is not necessarily one of the 19 Hassans, but rather a shadow of death itself that hung over the Order of Assassins. He may have been a numbered Hassan, but this means but his means of killing are so subtle that it's hard to know how long he operated, and if he was, he probably existed even during the reign of another Hassan. He is very old-fashioned in his speaking and mannerisms.
Okay.
His big thing is he just can't be seen. He will hide in people's shadows.
That's not out of the question. I mean, there was never just one Hassan operating.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was a whole set of people, you know?
Well, yeah, no, it's a whole organization.
Yeah. I mean, granted, not everyone in the organization could participate in the assassinations, but there still had to be several people, because we hear about, like, several people in operation at the same time.
Yeah, no, these are just the leadership position, basically,
Yeah.
it's talking about.
I think they're called... There's a name for them. They're called, Dais or Imams, in this case, if they're the leader of the organization. Like D-A', Dai, and then Imam. Imam is a title given to a lot of Islamic leaders.
Another thing is so just hiding in the shadows isn't necessarily a means of killing. His means of killing are through inducing illnesses and causing accidents in huge quotation marks.
Lovely.
Many may look at his kills and not even assume it was a murder.
Lovely.
His Zabaniya is called, or I guess you have his abilities here, sort of like the FGO, so I'm just going to look at these.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Shadow Lantern. All right, Ghostly Weft, Curse and a Blessing. Okay. Meditative Sensitivity.
I've actually already opened this NP page because this is the only way you can see his NP. This is not Ghostly Weft. We'll get to this in a minute, but that's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So Ghostly Weft's NP is called Meditative Sensitivity. This NP is the ability to transform himself into the concept of death and drag his enemy to the netherworld with him.
Mm-hmm.
It would, to my understanding, kill them both, so he'll only use it when death is imminent and unavoidable.
Mm-hmm.
He can also use it just to gain a connection to the netherworld, to gain information on pretty much anything.
Okay.
So, moving on here, this was True Assassin. That in this panel here is False Assassin. The no-name Hassan.
All right.
So, she was a religious zealot who wanted to achieve the title of Hassan and come up with her own Zabaniya.
Mm-hmm.
She worked tirelessly and harshly, showing a level of fanaticism even most members of the order thought was going too far. In her effort to find a Zabaniya, she replicated all 18 Zabaniyas that were achieved prior to her. The only one she doesn't have is the 100 Personas one.
Mm-hmm.
That was deemed to be insufficient, as she did the research equivalent of just replicating old research and copying the words instead of producing new results on her own.
Yeah.
So she failed to achieve the title of Hassan and instead was passed up in favor of 100 Personas. And yeah.
Oof.
So we'll scroll down here.
Okay. Oh, and then there's all the ones she's displayed so far.
Yep.
Which we have not seen a few of yet. Febrile Inspiration, Raving Shadow Flash, or Unfeeling Patrolling Spirits, or Cyber Fantasy, or Ichor of Reverie.
Yeah. So I'm going to click back here to the first Hassan page now, just because this is a good time if you want to get an idea of some of the names and Zabaniyas. I can do that.
Ah.
So now you can put names to the Zabaniyas here.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because we've been seeing them as we go, but yeah.
I believe this is also the order. No, they're not.
No, just their number.
Yeah.
Oh! Look at the cursed arm. He's got a date.
Yeah, well, we know this. We actually know this one because in the singularity where he appears in an FGO, he appears alive. Like,
yeah.
This is when he was in operations.
But fucking... There was only... I only have one listed assassin in operation from that time from the original list.
So you know who it was.
Well, potentially, because the order only lasts till 1275. That's 2 years before it ends. The only one is that one who I mentioned who was the son-in-law of the Sultan of Egypt. Sarim al-Din Mubarak.
So I believe, if I'm not wrong, the order did end, but it kind of continued in remnants past that point too.
Yeah,
which is probably how you fit the 19 here.
Yeah, because the fucking the Mongols, right? They basically like razed their castles, killed their people, like destroyed the kind of like political organization. But, and I don't mean this in a disparaging way, but ideology is the strongest moving factor that can affect a human being, right? Economy, sure. Power, sure. Authority, sure. Emotion, sure. Ideology.
But you believe that you're fundamentally, like, the very basis of your worldview is at risk.
Mm-hmm. Ideology will motivate humans further than anything else on Earth. And I find it hard to believe that the Order would just end in a year, in like a specific year, because of this happened. No. Like, I mean, sure, maybe their strongholds were kind of decimated and their numbers were few, but that doesn't mean that they ended then.
Downsized, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Split into multiple sects, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But end seems a little...
Went on to become the inspiration for Assassin's Creed.
That said, it is notable that because we know there were only 19 of them, 100 Faces was the last one, and No Name Assassin was a candidate for the last one.
Mm-hmm.
So we can blame the fall of the Hassans on 100 Personas.
Aww. I like 100 Personas. Alright, that's No Name.
Yep. So, let's see here. Oh, yeah. So, because this is the Assassin of Fate Stay Night. Because, remember how all Fate Stay Nights had class cards in the Kali Liner series? There's also one here. Shinji was notably a user of one of it at one point.
I hate Shinji.
Oh, thank you.
Look,
Water's
Emiya.
wet. Yeah. That was a fight between him and Emiya.
I hope Emiya won.
He did.
Good. It's the only time I've wished Emiya would win anything. Well, Shiro, specifically.
Look, this Shiro is the goat Shiro.
Oh, okay.
But this card appears to be capable of becoming pretty much any Hassan, or at least it picks one based off the user's needs or personality. To my knowledge, in its various uses, we've seen 4 different Hassan variants, including one we have yet to see. This Hassan appears to be... the one here by Shinji is similar to Cursed Arm, but different, it seems.
Okay, so the ones here that are unknown, we haven't seen them yet, right?
No. So, like, a lot of those came in the same chapter as Cursed Arm, because a bunch of Hassans get summoned in that chapter. Mm-hmm. But a lot of them are kind of like just given generic sprites from 100 Personas, and then don't really get a battle sprite, or they die off screen.
Okay. So we're not going to have much on them?
No. So, his arm here that you see is called Kore the Whip, or Core the Whip. I don't know. Let me make sure I have that spelling right. Abilities. Does it say here? Alright, we're going to click Zabania Dead Heartbeat Melody, because it's technically a different Zabania. I don't know where I got that name from.
Huh.
Either way, it's similar to the Cursed Arms NP, except instead of recreating the heart and crushing it, what happens here is they touch the heart, and where they touched...
It explodes?
Yeah, it just pops. Like, there's just a straight hole in that person's area where the heart was now, and you can see right through a person.
Oof. That's not good.
Yeah. Alright, so here's the one that I think people love the most. Okay. We've neglected to talk about...
The first Hassan.
The
Hassan
first Hassan. Meet Hassan Isaba.
Okay. I know this is a proximity thing. But tell me that does not look like it's done by the same artist as Zhang Yu.
It very well might be. You want to confirm that?
I'm a little curious.
No.
It looks like it though, doesn't it? It's like got the same like grittiness. It is fucking awesome though. Like, this is so cool. Oh, Einzulgown wishes.
A lot of people
wore this
liken his
cool.
design to Einzulgown.
Yeah,
He's got a similar thing going on.
Yeah, except Einzulgown wishes he were this cool.
The Virgin Einzulgown versus the Chad King Hassan.
Yes.
So, should this come as a surprise?
That this is the strongest of the Hassans?
Not just of the Hassans. He's Grand Assassin.
Oh, another Grand Servant. Now we've had Grand Lancer.
Okay, let me go through the Grands that we know. I know Lancer. We've done Grand Archer.
Okay. Oh, Karna, right?
No.
Arjuna.
No. Orion.
Oh, that's it. Isn't one of the Karna or Arjuna, one of them's a Grand Servant, right?
Nope.
No, they're God. God Karna, God Arjuna.
You haven't seen any of the Grand Casters yet.
No, but if Grand Saber is Artoria, I will scream.
You've played up to that point in the campaign. You know that Solomon is a Grand Caster.
Yeah.
You haven't seen Grand Rider yet.
Nope. Although I'm very curious.
Yeah, no, you only know Lancer, Archer, and now Assassin.
Nice. The first Hassan.
Yes.
Yes. This is Hassan Isaba.
He is the first and the last Hassan. Because after he stepped down, he achieved apparent immortality.
Yeah.
He would spend the rest of his organization's existence serving as a shadowy overseer that would monitor the current Hassan.
He's in Nahui Mictlan.
Yep. He's in a lot of...
Yeah, I see Babylonia and Camelot. Which means I'll see him again when I watch the Camelot movies soon. Soonish.
We have to get to that point in the campaign before I'm going to submit those.
Bitch, I don't mean submit them. I mean you're going to show me them outside of that shit. I hope you're aware.
So
I am not waiting till campaign to see more Ozzy.
You're not far.
Too far. Because I haven't seen it yet.
So he was a rumor, but none of the Hassans were able to confirm he existed. Any that may have met him were killed.
Amazing.
He serves as the one that will kill the Hassan if they stray too far from what the path was.
Valid.
This could be...
The Hassan of Hassans.
Yes. This could be because they declined in spirit or skill. Either way, eventually they would all have their heads severed by the old man.
Like that one who failed to kill Saladin twice. Or the one who failed to kill Edward the First.
He was not heartless, and is not just one that'll sit idly by while others struggle. He's willing to step into a conflict at the request of the Order of Assassins, if and only if the current Hassan asks him for aid. But for Hassan to ask for aid itself is punishable by death.
Oh, yeah, because you're admitting weakness.
Yeah, in that event, he will step in, and the other Hassan will lose their head.
Oof. Look. I mean, here's the thing. High risk, high reward.
There is no risk. You're gonna die, and you will win, though.
High risk, high reward.
Like, we're talking...
Or I guess the rather is high price point.
Combat-wise, I'd say he's probably up there as one of the more powerful people in Type Moon.
Could he beat Gil?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Have we seen him beat Gil?
No.
Damn.
But we've seen him beat people of comparable, if not greater, strength. I.e.
Oh, shit, Tiamat.
He was heavily involved in that fight.
Oh, I can't wait. All right, I wanted to read some that are different. Okay, so I read Nitocris. The teachings are different, but her decorum towards the deceased, the attitude of a ruler, is something to which he can nod in approval. If Chaldea were to be involved with the land of the dead once again, and she was all alone by herself at that time, the burden might be a little bit too much for her, is the concern he feels for her. Aww. I'm also going to read a Resh giggle. The teachings might be different, but from her belief and obligation towards death, he feels something virtuous. If Chaldea were to be involved with the land of death once again, if she was also present, there would be no role for him to play, is what he thinks. That must have been in regards to Nahui Mictlan.
Probably actually more regards to his appearance in Babylonia.
Oh, okay.
But he also has thoughts on... Oh, Nitocris, that's Nahui Mictlan.
Okay, but these are the same, so they're both from Nahui Mictlan.
Possibly.
No, because it's the same phrase. If Chaldea were to be involved with the land of the dead once again.
Oh, you're right then.
Yeah. So they're both Nahui Mictlan. Because Nahui Mictlan is the Mayan land of the dead.
And then he has thoughts on all of the Hassans.
Yeah,
here.
I wasn't going to read all those out. Although I will read the Hassan of the successive generations. As the founder, he scolds the old men who did a poor job. It goes without saying that scolding equals death.
Actually, it might be worth reading all these out. Because
Okay.
all of these are him pointing out why he doesn't like them and they deserve to have their heads cut off.
Okay, alright. We'll start with Cursed-Arm. Cursed-Arm. What gain did thou find in grafting a demon's arm onto thy body? Thine own foolishness? Fool, hand over thy head. Okay, 100 faces. 100 faces. What did thy wisdom beyond reckoning buy thee? 100 souls vying for a single truth? Fool, hand over thy head. Serenity. What purpose did thy poisoned body serve? Solitude, unfit to protect even the flowers of the field. Fool, hand over thy head.
He's just like, you're all dead. You all suck.
You know what? I'm gonna read the Tezcatlipoca one. O smoking mirror, killing for the sake of killing, existing to die. If that is thine faith, I am unable to dispute it. Man, he's got the coolest voice lines.
Honestly, like, you're gonna hear his voice here soon too.
Shit, he's got cool fuck.
So he's notably a lot more of a fighter, whereas the previous Hassans were more straight assassins. While he can hide himself, his imposing presence, his opponent will ultimately still know that death is upon it.
Hang on, I gotta read this out. Hassan stopped the sandstorm and deflected a strike from Excalibur Galati, now powered by the sun, claiming, that light couldn't even awaken one who was asleep.
Yeah, there's just an entire ass moment where Hassan, like, shows up to Gawain and, like, just...
Oh man, look at that shit. Ozzy is also as cautious of King Hassan as he is of the Lion King. He has also been shown to be capable of eliminating abstract concepts such as Ereshkigal's alliances with the goddesses opposed to Babylonia.
We'll get to that for sure.
Holy shit.
So one thing I want to note here, because you're not going to see this in the anime movie. When Hassan sees Ozymandias for the first time prior to the events of the chapter, they actually get into an off-screen fight. And Hassan absolutely wrecks Ozymandias' shit. And Ozymandias spends most of the chapter trying to hold his head in place because his head is falling off.
Oh, God. I want to see it so bad. Also, immunity to negagenesis. Immunity to negagenesis. Immunity to negagenesis. What the fuck, my guy? What the fuck? Okay. These are understandable. Okay. At the boundary, a skill for those who walk within the valley, are as one with death and are familiar with his ways. He is resistant to death's instantaneous imposition. This lets him keep fighting, right? For a little bit. Okay, battle continuation. Yep, there it goes. Abyss of death. Natural body, the possession of a perfect body as a living being since birth. Protection of the faith, only possessed by those who have sacrificed themselves for a religious view. So in that aspect, you could argue he could be an Avenger.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
That said, he can only be assassin because of
Yeah.
Hassan.
Yeah. Uncrowned martial arts. Evening bell, the announcements of funeral proceedings and the visitation of death being announced. Canst thou hear this bell? It tolls for thy destiny's end. Accept it, and unbind thy soul, for this is thy last chance as a human to slumber in peace. Oh, my homie in Christ!
Yeah, so his NP Azrael here is just decapitating his enemy.
Yeah. With a very large sword.
So, he releases this when he is between the boundary of life and death. So even the slightest cut, even if he doesn't fully decapitate someone, the slightest cut will just kill somebody.
Jesus.
And then we saw earlier, he can just straight up impart the concept of death onto somebody that didn't normally have it. Like, say, a divine being that's truly immortal and cannot be killed.
Like Tiamat. Jesus.
Yeah, I guess... Yeah, we'll click into this so you can read flavor text.
It's named for the Angel of Death. Though the sword is perfectly commonplace, it has been stained with the faith of the first Hassan. You mean the blood. You mean the blood of the people he's killed. Since it is wielded by someone who wanders the boundaries between the Valley of the Shadow of Death, as I walk through the Valley of the Shadow of Death, I take a look at myself and... Sorry. Yep, kill with any cut. For those who lose their lives to the sword, they say there is fear, but no pain. There is dread, but no suffering. There is repentance, but no regret.
So I will note here, before we get into like showing his actual NP, his Noble Phantasm Azrael is notably extremely similar to abilities shown by 2 Type Moon characters.
Okay.
That both predate him, actually, as far as like where they were included. The first one you've seen is Shikiryogi from Garden of Sinners.
Okay.
Who shows similar busted ability to kill things, including non-living things and concepts.
Mm-hmm.
You'll remember that last movie we watched where she just kills appendicitis.
Mm-hmm.
And the other is Shiki Tono, whom we haven't become familiar with on the channel yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yet. All right, so.
Dost thou hear the bell? That's a gut sword if I ever saw one. Isn't it?
Yeah.
To be fair, he does bear a not unnoticeable resemblance to Guts in some ways as well.
Yeah.
Hearken, the evening bell tolls thy name. Wings of death, will thou sever thy head? Asrael. And the tolling of the funeral bells. That's impressive as fuck.
So that's not it.
What is this?
Arcade.
You so love me some arcades. I've been eating well recently with arcades. Man, I've heard enough of those words in anime before to know what he's saying. Whoa. Jesus, he just like... I gotta do a thing first. I go, hang on. Remember when you showed me Moon Knight? Remember when you were really, really sure that I was gonna get hella scared by Khonshu stalking down the hallway?
Yeah.
Right? Remember my reaction to that? Daddy?
So, like, can I just comment here? Since we saw Ozymandias get murked there. The fact that Ozymandias survived
really says something about Ozzy.
Says a lot about Ozzy.
It's sheer audacity. Would you like me to go through and close?
If you want to, just avoid closing again the Arturia ones.
Yep. Hot. Leave that open. All right, so is this where we're starting for CEs?
Yep. Cursed Arm.
Okay, all right. Oh, so he had an old and a new. It's just the background changing mostly.
Yeah, because there was a point where they updated all the low rarity servants with backgrounds.
Yes. Okay. Oh, all right. Others? Nothing particularly special. Just the arcades. All right. Oh.
I did go through these. There shouldn't be any problems with any of these. We will see some of them multiple times with the Hassans.
That's fine. If I recognize them, I won't open them. Right, Shaitan's arm. This is his Bond CE. That looks very, very nice. Kind of looks like a mummy arm.
A little bit.
I will become this era's old man no matter what. For that very purpose, I will not hesitate to sacrifice my body. At the end, if I am without talent or skill, then I will gladly feed my boring arm to the demon. And so the man sacrificed his right arm to the demon. The demon, tricked by the man, entrusted his right arm to him. The man finally became the best of assassins. Behold, the terrifying cursed arm. That arm that can really trick reality and rip the heart out of any mirror image. It was a fitting demise for a man who threw away his humanity and his identity. Impressive. Okay, so is he in the background somewhere?
Yeah, this is one we'll have seen before, but
This is ambitious.
I couldn't find him earlier and I was looking for him.
Yeah, no, because there's Ku, and that's Skahak, and Mash, and Kath Palug.
Oh.
He's on the cotton candy bag!
We have read this one before, though.
Yeah. Yep. Yaki salbatako, yaki chocolate coated bananas, apricots, cotton candy, and candy apples.
I couldn't find him here either, but he's here somewhere.
We're gonna figure this out. All right, lifesavers. All right, let's see. Is that an SPQR logo?
I don't think so. I think that's just the Caldea logo.
You sure? Okay. All right, you're right. I can't figure out.
He's there
You
somewhere,
would think,
apparently.
with the cursed arm, right? You'd think you'd be able to figure.
Oh,
he's under her. He's in the water. Nope.
that actually doesn't include any names you don't know.
Oh,
but
okay.
we've probably read this one before.
Oh,
In the updates.
Ushi,
Jack Nightingale.
Babbage. Have we read this? Yeah, we must have. We must have at some point. Yeah. Okay. Right. Multi-purpose cloth Hassan. Look at the little chibi. It's so cute. A Valentine's return gift. A universal throw that is Hassan's favorite. It can be used as a cape, a blanket, curtain, even a rope. It's new, so it's spotless. You can also clean your phone with it. I mean, to be fair, I do appreciate a good throw blanket. You know? It is always a great gift. Alright. Formal dress. He looks like Moon Knight now.
Who knows if that was intentional?
Oh, definitely. This is... maybe, but this is much older than the recent Moon Knight.
It's new in the TV series that Moon Knight's not an unpopular character. He has this niche fandom, so I don't know.
True. Maybe, but maybe not. I don't know. I think it looks good.
It could also be a reference to Assassin's Creed.
That's true. Merry Sheep. Are these all... Yeah, these are all Hassans.
There are a bunch of Hassans.
Yeah, because there's one Hassan. This is another Hassan. We'll see her again. There's Cursed Arm. Look at there's the poison daggers and... Oh, she's not going to be able to give those to anybody.
Actually, I think she can. The items she touches, she can choose whether or not to poison those.
Oh, okay.
She can affect the dosage on that.
So Merry Sheep. By the light of the fireplace, this girl knits for her love on this holy night, knitting for you, her one and only, who is able to be by her side. Aw, cute. Above the heavens, he is.
This is a Heavens Feel CE.
The pursuit, never once thinking that it was something beyond our reach. Never have we doubted that we were worthy. The body exists solely for that pursuit, and it exists solely for our purpose. This is what you are. That's about her, right? Probably.
I'm actually not sure.
Whatever it is. Oh.
There's a character we haven't seen in here, so I don't think
know
it doesn't say
her.
the name.
I know her. I know them.
Oh, Serenity's in the background there.
Yeah,
too, it looks like.
that's what I thought. Secret Company Assassin. A formerly villain company that was hired to do assassination now carries out information gathering and marketing works. The great efforts of the capable section chief and the talented secretary really shine through when being put against the company president's whims. The singer P, who sunk under the Electron Sea, has also come back. It seems that Oshizu, currently Poison Kiss, who has given her letter of resignation, is still occasionally helping out with the company's operation as a subcontractor.
Just wrote the premise of an entire fucking anime.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh. Fuck.
Too far.
Well, I didn't think it would be so much comments. Alright. Icons, sprites, expression sheets.
So she actually does. That's a little girl.
Yeah. All right. I love that. All right. Craft essences. 1, 2, 3. I'm not opening ones I remember. All right. So, library of 100 men. Oh. See, this is what you need, a good library. Everyone needs a good library. Oh god, it's all of the 88 personas.
So those are just all the skills
Yeah.
they have across the personas.
Normal, strong, speed, plotter, collector, mender, shadow jumper, silent, lender, persuader, whirlwind, fast tail, deceiver, silent, severer, priest, oiled needle, smoky altar, sword demon, night shadow, geographer, strange one, amender, farseer, hellfire, thunderer, snake scent, many knowing temptress, dew painter, doctor eater, what the fuck? Noblefinger, horse striker, shadow shooter, transcriber, warner, windbow, persuader. Is that fucking persuader twice? No.
Yeah.
Yes? Yeah, twice. Tainted mud, hybrid, pure black cedar, crested robe, starseer, beautiful eater, hoop master, herbalist, wicked one, moonlight, bug keeper, lockbreaker, oblivion, colorless, assayer, poison taster, grower, rifler, asphyxiation, archaeologist! Providence, bone drawer, worshipper, light legs, double sneak, sunlight, judge, medic, thousand leagues, puppeteer, echo, song passer, long blade, sneaker, creator, bequeather, ender, strange arts, neighbor, boatman, record destroyer, separator, grass blinker, sharpener, heart reader, closed area, yellow rebel, rain swallower, marble. These are the 88 friendly strangers. The personas of the others are yet unknown to us.
So I think this probably translated better in Japanese because you can see sort of the neat cleanness to that in the original version.
Yeah.
Also, I'm pretty sure Persuader, well, twice. If we looked for it, I'm sure we'd find 2 different kanji there for the same idea.
Are we going up and down or over?
I don't know.
I can't.
Yeah, no, I didn't think you wanted to put that effort in, but I imagine
I can't.
Knowing Japanese, it's 2 different words
Yeah.
for the same term that imply slightly different.
That's what I figured. All right. Bag of 100 pieces of chocolate. Oh, look at the Hassans. Look at them. They're adorable. A medley of big and small, good and bad, bite-sized things that look like chocolates are packed in a bag full of dreams. It may look store-bought, but everything here is handmade by Hassan. They are overly intricate, so it might be just safe to assume that the chocolates represent sentiments that are not usually put into words. Aww. Cute. Okay, a winter party.
You don't know everyone here, but
No,
it should
I
be
don't.
spoiler-free.
It's cute, though. I'm trying to find the Hassans. Where they be? I see, and where my Hassans be?
Presence concealment.
Yeah, genuinely. I can't stare at that. This winter, we bring the excitement and memories of that summer to your town. A lot of fun is coming to Hokkaido, Miyagi, and Osaka. Okay, another Hassan. Only like halfway this time. Alright, icons. Spirits, sprites, yep. There's our other servant. Okay. Oh, we've got some stuff. Okay, illustration. Oh, look at that. That's so cute. Oh, happy White Day. Adorable. Alright. I'm gonna enjoy watching that one again. Alright, proof of existence. Yeah. I am a contemptible woman. I was raised as a flower, and my body was refined to be poison. Though I was given the honor of being the leader of our cult, I betrayed my precious allies. But, Oh, but I wish, I long, I dream, and my body aches. I want to touch someone. I want to be close to them. I want to feel their warmth. I want to be able to do what everyone else can. I don't want to kill, but I exist to kill. I kill. I kill. I touch and kill. I caress and kill. I dance and kill. I hold in my arms and kill. A kiss and I kill. No matter how strong I want something, I am a weapon that keeps killing. An assassin, a fatal poison. That will not change no matter what happens. Someday, I'm sure, I will end up killing you too.
I almost forgot to mention. So, funny thing about this Hassan. So, normally when a servant dies, they're sent back to the Throne of Heroes. They don't usually retain the memories, but they might retain some sort of intuition, or they could, over time, maybe recover them. Hassan of the Serenity will do that as well. But if she ever finds, like, love and falls in love, that won't happen. Instead, it'll be a brand new blank slate Hassan of the Serenity that gets summoned next time she's summoned.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Black kiss. Yum. Alright. I'm sorry to be such a broken record. This is poisonous. Please do not let anyone else eat this. They will probably die. I made it by hand, and as a result, the chocolate became deadly poison. That's why. Please only eat it yourself. Do not share. Noted. Oh, I accidentally opened this again. Okay. There she is.
So where are we at in terms of how many we know and don't know?
I know him. I know him. I know him. I know him.
You don't know 3 of them still.
Don't know that one. Don't know that one. Don't know that one. Although I did just see him a second ago. On accident with you. Alright. Still don't know who he is, though. February 1990. Oh, I already read this. The Old Man in the Mountain. Alright. Icons. Sprites. Expression sheet. Yes! Guess who? Well, that just looks amazing.
So much good art. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Love this. And Benny and Ma. Oh, I see him up in the corner.
Oh, yeah, that's a Reshkagal's NP. He'll appear in her NP.
I went too far. All right. Oh, he was in the background. Okay, I'm looking for him again. All right. The Rift of the Valley. What freaking amazing art. There were no teachings left to share, and nothing of himself left to share them. The swordsman became the messenger of heaven's will, and his fate took him beyond the realm of mastering the blade. After so many centuries watching over the evening bell, he can no longer be called a living being. He has become a force of nature. In the mountain abyss, the line between life and death is blurry. The swordsman who walked hand in hand with death lives on after his own passing, just like the legend of the old man in the mountain that he created. Epic. Albuquerque. Okay. A scent that calms one's nerves, the smoke that builds up shall lead you to a delicate and profound land. May peace be upon your soul. This is a reference to hashish.
So First Hassan is not in this.
Oh.
Instead, what's going on here are the Neko Arc mascots. One is dressed as First Hassan.
Yeah, I was going to say, because there's the... Okay. 1, 2...
He maybe... No, that can't be him.
It's a painting of the company's founder! Look at the horns! The fucking horns! Glorious.
So yeah, that's the Hassans.
My god. What a clusterfuck. That is the only valid Hassan. We stan Hassan Isaba.
I love... My personal thing that I love is that every other Hassan is a fucking failure in his eyes.
I mean... It's kind of hard to beat I walk through the valley of the shadow of death that take up...
And even in Fate, like, that's still pretty well held up, like, power scaling wise as well. Because they're all, like...
weaker than him.
Way weaker. And then he's up there, like, they're weaker than
like-
most servants, and he's up there as, like, one of the strongest ass servants out
total, yeah. Amazing. Anyways, who is next?
We might want to just announce our theme for next month.
So next month's videos are all themed around case files of Lord Elmaloy.
We're actually, next month we should, I think it'll be after this video, next month we also will have the final set of Lord Elmaloy books, which
Yep.
might as well throw that out there as part of the month too.
Yep, we're going to finish Lord Elmaloy. We're going to do some Elmaloy-esque servants. I'm very excited for our first one. I've got a special outfit and everything.
Have you worn that on camera before?
Once.
Oh.
I've worn this on camera before. But it is a special item.
It's going to be coming out every episode this
It
month.
will be coming out every single episode. All right, well, like, comment, subscribe.
Adios.